Hi guys, it's Chloe and welcome back to my channel. But in honor of October being Spina Bifida Awareness Month, I'm going to be talking about why my parents chose to get surgery for me and surgery and stuff like that. This is a part 2 video. If you haven't seen my part 1, I highly suggest you do. So there'll be a little eye in the corner and just click that and I'll take you to the first video. But before I get into this, if it looks like I'm looking down, it's not that I don't care. This is my binder of all my childhood medical records, and this is a little triggering and hard to talk about. So in the event that I have, I can't remember something, then I have this for quick reference. And I am so excited to get into this with you guys, and on that note, we're going to get started. So basically, my pediatrician recommended a specialist, a neurosurgeon, but my mom pushed for a second opinion because it's always a good idea to have 2 opinions. So back then, there were 2 children's hospitals in my area. There was Scottish Rite and then Emory Eggleston Children's Hospital. We ended up going to both, and basically they both confirmed that I had spina bifida, but what happened was everyone has a spine and a spinal cord. And as you get closer down to your butt on the right side, there are these fibrous hairs that are supposed to free float, but mine were being anchored to my spine and causing me not to be physically flexible, as well as giving me bladder problems, my constipation, and the reoccurring UTIs. I saw the neurosurgeon from Emory, and my parents, whenever they had questions, and his overall demeanor was a we'll see approach. So will Chloe be able to walk? I don't know, we'll see. And he always said, we'll see if Chloe is able to go to the bathroom on her own. And then with the Scottish Rite doctor, it was always a hard no. So whenever my parents had questions, and his demeanor, again, was a hard no. So for instance, if my mom were to ask, will she be able to crawl? He was like, no, she will not be able to crawl. He would also say no, she will not be able to toilet on her own. So you can see where my parents went with. We ended up going with the guy at Eggleston, which I liked their decision, and because I liked his we'll see approach, because don't get me wrong, I understand that doctors legally can't say yes, and the reason why they legally can't do that, for people that are wondering and curious, is because you can't, for instance, let's say my mom asks the surgeon if I'm going to be able to walk, and the surgeon says yes. However, after my surgery, I'm unable to do it, or I have a complication like an infection that I got that causes me not to be able to walk. Then my parents could technically sue because he gave them false hope. So I understand that part, but I also don't like the no because it's too derogatory. But I do like the we'll see because it's a happy medium, in my opinion. And we went and met with Dr. Petronio's his name. And I feel comfortable saying his name because he doesn't practice at Emory Eggleston anymore. When I looked, I think he's at a children's hospital in Grand Rapids, Michigan. He told my parents that I needed surgery ASAP because my spine was being anchored in place because my spinal cord was anchoring it, because it couldn't grow because it was tethered. The thing is that my spine could grow in little increments, but it couldn't catch up to my body. But because it was trying to grow in baby increments, my spinal cord was being pulled and stretched. And it was being pulled and stretched so much that my spinal cord started unraveling. Also, all your organs are attached to your spine, and if they can't grow with you and be in the right places, they'll start shutting down on you and you could die. And especially because I was 2.5 and this wasn't fixed. So it wasn't like I had to be yeeted to the hospital via ambulance afterwards. I got it done, spoiler alert, 2 weeks later, but he recommended a good quality mattress. And the thing is, though, is that I was in a crib, and as someone who's in a crib, they didn't make back then good quality mattresses for people, babies in cribs. or toddlers. So I was upgraded to a twin bed, and we left the appointment. And after we left the appointment, my dad called health insurance to get the surgery approved, and neither my dad nor my mom's health insurance wanted to cover it. So my dad, being the big man that he is, basically called them and said, one of y'all is going to pay for the surgery, and Chloe's going to get it no matter what, but y'all need to duke it out. And I should mention the reason why they didn't want to pay for it, because it was expensive and it may or may not help me walk. And like tethered cord surgeries back then were kind of just like not as well known, but also at the time healthcare changed drastically. So they were becoming more greedy. And my mom had called the hospital and asked the hospital if there was anything for me to do there. And they said there are trikes that I could ride up and down the hallways, but they weren't sure if I was going to be able to do that. So my mom's like, is there anything else? And they said, yes, there's TVs in the rooms with VCR players. And my mom brought a bunch of Barney films. I got the surgery, and afterwards, the surgeon said that immediately after he separated everything, my spine shot straight up and I curled up, which I've never been able to curl up. And my parents were a little scared, but he said not to worry because that meant the surgery was a success. And it also meant that I was just so tethered that my spine was finally able to catch up. And it's kind of like a slingshot, you know? You pull it back and then you let it go, and everything just slingshots right up. Same thing here. And then I was put on morphine afterwards because this surgery is like very painful. And after, you know, I was put on morphine, and I remember one of my brothers came to visit. The other one wasn't born yet, so it didn't matter. And my mom used to sneak me chocolate donuts for breakfast. But I was there for like 2 to 3 days, and then I went home. Basically, I got a follow-up appointment. They said that I was able to like swim, which I loved, and I was trying to run, and they recommended physical therapy. They also recommended aquatic therapy, but we didn't have an aquatic therapy place near us. Also, they said that my UTI should have resolved at this point because they said it made sense that I had them beforehand because I was tethered, but now that I'm untethered, I shouldn't be having those problems. And as it turns out, I still did. And he just thought it was genetic because my dad's sister and my mom's mom, or my mom's dad, both had them. And I was also bringing up my knees to my chest, which is something I hadn't done before. Stuff like that. That's, you know, basically it. I thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I can't wait to see you guys again soon.